That was a lovely Sunday. The words of Max Verstappen as he cruised to victory at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And while it wasn't lovely for some, it was certainly entertaining for most of us. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans, and this is the race recap of everything that went down this Sunday at Imola. Charles Leclerc's error on lap 53 cost the championship leader at Imola as Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez managed to make it a Red Bull 1-2 on an exhilarating afternoon at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. The Dutch driver led from start to finish, capping off a weekend where Verstappen eventually finished as the leader at the end of every session. And in Sunday's race, he didn't even have to contend with his Ferrari rival, getting away well from pole and leading the pack through turn 1 in tricky damp conditions after a morning littered with showers at the Imola circuit. Leclerc, on the other hand, dropped down to 4th coming out of the first corner, beaten on the getaway by both Perez and Lando Norris in the McLaren. But there was worse still to come for his teammate Carlos Sainz, who was caught from behind by Danny Ricciardo and slid off to beach his Scuderia in the gravel trap, forcing his second retirement in as many races. The safety car came out quickly to clear the stricken Ferrari, but once we got racing again, Leclerc was quick to nip past the McLaren and retake 3rd position, but rarely threatened Perez up in 2nd. Elsewhere, George Russell was getting plenty out of his Mercedes, and by lap 13 was past Kevin Magnussen and into 5th, with Valtteri Bottas a lap later following suit as the Haas dropped down the order. The first to move off the intermediate tyres and onto the slicks was last place Danny Ricciardo, taking the gamble on lap 17, with Perez the first of the front runners to test the mediums on lap 19. The track was drying, but radio messages still discussed the possibility of the rain returning. In the melee of the pit lane, Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon touched, a sign of the erratic weekend the 7-time world champion was having as he struggled out of the top 10 for the whole of the afternoon. Leclerc and Perez came out of the pits to meet as the Ferrari driver made his stop a lap later than the Mexican, and although the Ferrari had closed the gap after a wobble from the Red Bull driver on his outlap, the time it took the championship leader to get some heat into the tyres was that little bit too long, with Perez able to jump back into 2nd quite comfortably. The Red Bull was out of DRS range from then on, with Verstappen cruising up front and no doubt enjoying the chance to lap his title rival of last season, Lewis Hamilton, before the end of the race. So Ferrari decided to take a gamble to make a last stop to switch to softs, looking to secure the fastest lap of the race, a point for that of course, and safe in the knowledge that they would probably be able to get past the McLaren of Lando Norris, despite stopping. Lap 50 brought the Monegasque driver in, with Perez and Red Bull reacting a lap later, and Verstappen following the lap after that, not wanting to be left out of the party. With the Ferrari pushing and easily navigating Norris, and racing up to the rear of Perez, an errant jump over the curb at Variante Alta was enough to send him spinning into the barriers, able to resume but taking damage to his front wing. Another stop was needed, and suddenly the Scuderia saw their salvage job for the weekend up in smoke, although thankfully not literally. The Red Bulls cruised then to the top 2 spots on the podium, with Lando Norris's excellent weekend leaving him finishing 3rd in the McLaren. George Russell was 4th in the Mercedes, holding off Valtteri Bottas in 5th at the end of the race, and thankfully not giving us a repeat of last year's incident between the two. Leclerc was able to get his Ferrari back up to 6th, with Yuki Tsunoda finishing 7th. Sebastian Vettel's weekend finishing 8th, with his teammate Lance Stroll in 10th. Kevin Magnussen sandwiched between the two Aston Martins as they picked up their first points on a racing Sunday for this season. Asked about his dominance this weekend, Verstappen said after the win, "It's always tough to achieve something like that, but already yesterday and the day before we were on it, and I think it was looking like a strong weekend. Today you never know with the weather how competitive you're going to be, but I think as a team we did everything well, and I think this 1-2 is very deserved." So Red Bull are right back in these title fights, as it seems that reliability isn't going to be a problem for them every single week this season. More woes for Mercedes, as Toto Wolff has apologised over radio messages to Lewis Hamilton for the car that he had to drive this weekend. And what about Ferrari and Charles Leclerc? Another iffy moment at a chicane. Everybody remembers qualifying as well from Monaco last year. It's not his first time, and it may not be his last time either, that a mistake costs him, and it could cost him dearly in this title battle. Give us your comments on the race down below as always, and hit subscribe to stick with us for the remainder of the season and all the fallout from this weekend as well, here at GPFans.